Hello. Welcome. I'm not going to do as much chatter at the beginning. We'll have to postpone the chatter a little bit because I've been reading about Octopus, and it needs to simmer for a while. So the first thing we're doing is we're gonna get cracking on my simmering pot and get the octopus going, so that at the end, when everything's coming together, it's ready. So first things first. So kicking off quick today, and then I can slow down and chatter a bit more once I've got everything working. I've never worked with Octopus before, so this is all going to be an adventure. I want to. I'm basically doing a braise, but I'm doing a slow stovetop braise. So I've got a concentrated fish stock that I'm going to use so that the octopus isn't just sitting in water. I'm going to add a couple of things as it's going as well to get it up there. We're not making a soup. 1 teaspoon to 1 cup fish stock. So we'll just see how much a cup looks like. We're going to need more than a cup. So let's see how much 2 cups looks like. I put it in the pot. I'm doing it on the back burner because I'll be doing other things on the front burner. And we'll probably need about twice that or more. But we're doing some other things on the front burner, and I don't want this to be in the way. That should be about good. Let's get that heating. This is my multi-purpose stainless steel pot, and I like it especially because it has a well-fitting lid. I need to remember where I put the lid. It has a well-fitting lid with a little vent hole. So it will be able to simmer real slow while we do everything else. So the water he's heating up, I'm going to start putting some flavory ingredients in it. See, I've got a conversion chart here. 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. Put in 4 cups. If I want a decent fish stock, that means I need 4 teaspoons. So I like this stuff better than brand is better than bullion. It's basically bullion. It's just that it's a paste instead of powder or cubes, and I think it's easier to portion than like a cube would be. Because you can scoop it out. So you can do a chunk that's smaller than a bullion cube would be, easily. I don't have any fish stock on hand. We could do a stock making project one of these days. Since I'm doing this 2 times in a week now, I could do a setup project on one day and then finish the finished dish on the second day. That's a potential idea down the line. So those blobs of stock concentrate will dissolve as the water heats up and agitates. And I'll be throwing other stuff in there and looking through. So I'm not going to worry about those guys too much. It'd be nice. I wonder if I could and should. If I have a... We could have done this with dashi. Because I've got kombu and dried shiitake mushrooms and frozen dried anchovies. That could have been neat. We'll think about that for next time. So the plan is to do a seafood. I don't get that to boil and then bring it down to something. I'm doing a seafood medley, starring Octopus. Let's get over the countertop. Starring Octopus and over polenta. I've got some mushrooms. We're going to make some sort of shallot garlic butter sauce. Should be lots of fun. It's just that the octopus takes a while, and we need to open it up. I figured I should save the opening of this package because look at this thing. So this has been thawing in my fridge. It comes in this little tray. And it looks like I've got 2 whole octopus in there. Where's my black sheet? Put that there. Light sounds. It was super vacuum sealed when I got it. And since it thawed, it kind of loosened up, and you can see sort of juice and bubbles in there now. I hope the bubbles don't mean anything's wrong with it. It's still under its plastic seal, so we're going to find out together. I do a backup plan if this ends up going south on me for any reason. Oops. That explains why that's not heating up. I had the wrong burner going. Smart. Okay, that front burner is screaming hot, with nothing on it. I'm going to head to the other room and grab some scissors, because I think scissors will be easier to get into this thing with than a knife. Worry about shooting the juices out by stabbing it with a knife. So let's get into this package. Without spilling too much of it. Aha. That opens pretty well. And of course, with seafood and especially with shellfish, give it a sniff. If it smells off or fishy, then it's probably not so good. So I'm going to give this a quick sniff. Just got sort of a clean, oceany smell, which is what you're looking for with all raw seafood. You just want sort of a clean, oceany smell. The fishy smell of fish that is associated with fish actually comes from rotten fish. If it ever smells fishy, throw it away immediately. If it's something that comes in a vacuum seal like this, you'll never know until you've removed it from its packaging. So let's see what this guy looks like. Now these octopus have already been gutted and cleaned and debeaked. So this should be ready to go, and there are in fact 2 in here in different sizes. This guy's much larger. And one of his tentacles is broken. Okay. As you can see, there's really not much to the top part of the octopus. The tentacles are where it's all at. I think we're going to set the smaller one aside. So I wasn't planning on doing them whole. I was planning on sectioning. But the broken tentacle there means I wouldn't get a really nice piece on that side. If I took a wedge-like out of there, I'd have two tentacles and the little short one, and then the other thing could get split in half. Okay, that's a decent plan for the larger one. Let me curl them up a little bit, pull out the small one. Compare. The smaller one has more complete tentacles, and the tentacles should like form curls as they cook. Okay. What do you think? No one said anything in chat yet, so I hope you can hear me as I brainstorm my octopus plans here. Rinse my hands off real quick before I rummage around and grab a knife. By rinse, I mean I'm washing with soap because I want to make sure not get fish juice on my knife drawer. And I'm getting out my nicest, sharpest knife because meat of this type is often very chewy, rubbery. So it's got to be cut. And that's why you want to treat it carefully when you're cooking it as well, because it famously can go to just absolute rubber if you cook it wrong. And it's got a bit of a toughness to it as you're getting into it, even straight up raw like this. Kind of gotta press and pull through it. Ooh. Oh, he's got a little bit of slime to him, doesn't he? So that's 3 tentacles. What's that slime coming from? It's something on the interior. We're going to rinse these guys off before we actually cook them as well. I'm just trying to get an eye on what parts I'm using. Because clearly there's a little bit of slimy residue. Unlike chicken. Never wash your chicken, but you should probably rinse an octopus off before you really dive in on cooking it. That's coming up, so I'm going to turn that down so it's sort of simmers. don't want it to hard boil. I'm going to take the piece I just cut over to the sink, cold water, and just run it with cold water until it doesn't have that sort of filmy feeling. There's a slight, it's almost a, it's almost like snotty on the surface, but it rinses off pretty easily. And it's much more of that texture on the interior than on the exterior, so you can really feel the difference, and you can really feel when it's been rinsed off as well, and it's got a much cleaner texture to it. I need a bowl. Didn't think ahead. I need the steel bowl. Okay. So I think I want this piece with the two long, or with the one long section and the two stumpy ones to be another piece. Then just take it off the head, and then the remaining bit there, the hood and the mantle, and the other tentacles can be its own separate piece as well. This one with the super long tentacle should, in theory, curl up pretty neatly, and I hope will look quite striking on the plate. When we get that far. I've never cooked octopus before today, because I've always been kind of intimidated by it. So, learning experience for everyone involved. Ugh, cold water. I'm not going to use the smaller one, the other one, today. I'm actually going to put that in a freezer bag and refreeze it. As usual, I'm only making enough for myself. So, oh, this light is still on. That'll help with the backlighting on the face cam there. We're getting a lot of steaming going on our pot. And light bubbles. That's probably a good simmer. So I'm going to first of all put the remains of that first guy and the entirety of the smaller one in the bag here. Rinse my hand off one more time. Now I want to get all the air out of this bag I possibly can, because I'm putting it back in the freezer. So we're doing a bit of a donut roll here, or a burrito. I don't know what you call it. This isn't a donut or a burrito. It's a roll. Squeeze the air out. Rinse off the outside of the bag. Oops, spill some cold water on my butt. Oh. That guy is going to go back in our freezer. I'm not going to use him today, and I don't trust it now that it's been taken out of the vacuum ring. I'm going to... No, it's not human meat, it's octopus. See? Octopus. Welcome in, by the way. You've just missed me dismembering the... Oh, I was going to pour the juice out. Pour the juice out of the sink. You've just missed me dismembering an octopus. Here are the parts. I have to clean off this cutting board, but I can put some display here so you can see what I'm cooking. Octopus. I'll eat it later once it's cooked. I ain't not eating it raw. But there, octopus. Welcome in. That looks guffing. I don't know what that means. But, welcome in. The, water should be just about at a simmer. So, I think I actually want to put them in right now. They're gonna have to cook for a while. So, I'm gonna hold them by the tentacle end so they go in middle first. And the tentacles naturally kind of want to curl when they start to cook, which is handy. Then you get that nice shape later on when you serve them. Paper towels here. I don't know what that means, but it has a insulting tone. So please keep things friendly and civil in here. I'm gonna do a quick, since the octopus is now in there, get my tongs so I can push them around as they slow simmer. And I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to do a quick wash of the cutting board to get the octopus juice off of it. Since I feel like I'm going to need the cutting board again soon. So, now you're all the way across there. I can't see what you wrote. One moment, please, while I clean the cutting boards, and I'll be right back over to chat with you. This is one of the steps of cooking meats that you really can't neglect, is making sure to wash all the cutlery and boards that touch the raw meat, as well as your hands. Well, I don't know what guffing means, but the way you're using it sounds, I don't know, slightly insulting. Sure. Well, you're welcome to hang out as long as you remain civil. Are you going to a hard boil? No. So return that guy down. We'll get back over to the countertop. So I've also got, to accompany this, I've got some scallops that didn't actually quite thaw. So I might have to put them in some water, and some shrimp, because I'm doing a seafood combo deal. And we've got some mushrooms. Forgot about that guy. Come back to that later. But the octopus is the priority at the moment, so I'm going to get out some carrots and some celery. My celery is a little over the hill, so it's not really good for like eating celery, but slightly over the hill vegetables are perfectly fine for something like putting in a stock. So that's what we're doing with it. Get out. Cut the end off of that one because he's gone off on me. Top part should be fine though. Just find where the brown part ends and yeah. And there. Perfectly serviceable celery stalks that I'm just going to take into some sort of medium-large chunks. They can go in and they will add their flavor to the stock. Let's pull up Google. Okay. Oh, it came to a hard boil. I don't want that. Throw some celery in there. Welcome in, Bookwoman. I've I'm going to go ahead and ignore you, William, until you start being nice. Okay, that was the had to get this started quick part at the beginning, since the octopus is going to take quite some time to soften up. So now we can slow down and think about my remaining ingredients while I kind of toss stuff together. Do I want to do a whole carrot? I'm going to do a whole carrot. Like the celery, I'm just doing sort of big rough chunks. They'll be easy to fish out later. but they'll add some flavor to the broth as it's cooking the octopus. For the base, I'm doing a polenta or grits. They're pretty similar, and all I've got is plain old ground cornmeal. So that's going to be the base that I construct my finished dish on top of. And that takes a little bit of time, but not nearly as much time as the octopus will, which we'll be keeping an eye on as we go along. So I guess I'll just start prepping some of the other ingredients I'm throwing into this. I got these really big portobello mushrooms. I'm going to slice them up. Not all of them. I'll have loads of mushroom to go. I'm not making the octopus mousse. I couldn't wait for people to get in here to start in on the octopus because it needs to simmer for a while. So it's over here. There they are. They're still a little springy floppy. They've gotten a lot smaller than they were since I put them in there, which is good because I thought I was putting in a great deal. I do like black beans. I haven't made any in a while, but I like all sorts of beans. Cleaning some of the little bit of dirt on my outside of the mushrooms, which is common because they grow in dirt. I'm just giving that a quick clean off. I'm not in the habit of peeling my mushrooms, and I don't really think there's much to the theory that they get waterlogged. Hey there, William. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick timeout because you are clearly using insulting regional slang to describe the state of myself and my home. So. Oops. Countertop. I'm slicing up a big mushroom. That's what you missed, was me taking off one big slice of big mushroom. The big mushroom here is going to accompany our seafood in the finished dish. I want nice big slices to go with the nice big pieces of seafood. Yeah, okay. Goodbye. You guys can come back if you want to be nice, but if you're just gonna pitch insults that you think I don't know what you're talking about, you can go elsewhere and do that. That keeps wanting to come to a full boil over there. So we can go a little bit slow on most of this stuff because we have to wait for the octopus to catch up. The little chunks can probably become part of our sauce, or I could even throw them in the broth. Let's get out. Let's see, how long does this take to make? Doesn't take very long, apparently. Package directions. That's gonna go in with my shallot when I make the sauce. So I will put that in its own bowl now and add the shallot to it. I made a unfortunate discovery after uploading. You'll remember I switched music programs, and to because the Twitch music was getting copyrights. But the pretzel music was also giving me copyrights, and it's only doing it. I think I figured it out. It's only doing it on one channel. So, and it looked like, honestly, it looked like it was doing it on the same song on both days, just because the playlist kind of cycles and loops. So we are now, I guess, sticking with the lo-fi beats. Playlist channel, because the chill channel, which isn't terribly descriptive, has copyright music in it that they didn't clear. So I don't know. Still examining other options for the background music. Kind of slid out from under the knife. Shallots are a lot like onions. You see them called for in dishes a lot of times. They give you I think they're like a milder onion. They look like a red onion, like a tiny red onion. I think they provide more of a bit of a milder onion flavor. They're also quite a bit smaller than an onion. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure why you don't just use onion, other than shallots are fancy. So that can set aside and wait. I can't see my own OBS. There we go. I guess I'll get the small pot out and start thinking about the grits as well. And the fry pan. Let's use this one. I think the sloped sides will help me build my sauce in the middle a bit better when I get that far. Okay. I'm quite distracted right now because I'm thinking about the octopus. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to underdo it. It should work out. Here's hoping. But again, I don't know what I'm doing. By the way, how's the sound? No one's given me any negative feedback on the sound, so I assume everything's good. Oh, I should have written down a plan today. For sure. Well, it got real dim when I let's see. Get some cold water in a bowl. The octopus is going to be in there for at least an hour. So I've got a lot of other things to do. And then it's going to come out and you get a real quick sear in the pan to color up the outsides and give it a crispy edges. I got some shrimp out last night, put them in the fridge to thaw, and they didn't quite make it. So they're almost thawed. And I had the same problem with these scallops. The scallops are slightly freezer burned. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. They are slightly over the hill, having been in my freezer in a plastic bag. So I'm gonna grab 3 of those. They also need to thaw. They also got transferred out of my freezer to thaw overnight and didn't quite make it, which is a bit of a bother. I need to remember to use those up because they are definitely getting a little worse for wear just sitting in my freezer. The trouble with octopus is that it goes very rubbery. You have to cook it past that stage. So these guys are going to have to thaw on the side. I can already sense this is my most engaging and dynamic show, despite the arrival of some friendly strangers. Let's get the grits started. 4 cups of water to a cup of corned beef. Do I need that much? I don't think I need 4 cups. I'm going to make half that. Probably won't even need that much, but leftover grits are easy to use, so not concerned about having too much of that. And a little bit of salt. What angle? I just forget to change my angle. Yeah. Button on my wrist. That needs to come to a boil before I can put the grits in it. I will get them ready to go. You know, I'm going to use the big scooper. So I've got these, no, let's wait a minute. I've got these measuring cups that have the beveled halfway up scoop in them. And I think that's going to be safer than taking the half cup and filling it all the way to the brim. Then I won't be at risk of dropping it, making a big mess of cornmeal everywhere. Because that wouldn't be so fun. So that's half a cup cornmeal to 2 cups of water. Bring the water to a boil. Speaking of boil, my octopus is boiling harder than I thought it was going to. It's shooting for a simmer and it keeps getting to a hard boil. Butter. So I'm going to fry off the seafood and the mushrooms in pretty much garlic butter. And then top my grits with that, and that's the dish. That's the dish I'm planning on making. It's going to be a dish of grits with a artfully arranged seafood medley and garlic butter. I didn't think to pick up any parsley when I was at the grocery, so I'm not going to have the little green specks or the decorative sprig of parsley on top. And it should be very striking to look at as well, because I'll have nice big pieces of the 3 seafoods. You never made grits before? Well, it's surprisingly... Oops, that's the wrong button. It's surprisingly easy. They're currently on the upper left back corner. It is pretty much just cornmeal. You'll see it packaged like so. You'll see pre-made stuff that's already got the liquid in it. But the dry stuff is... I've just got Quaker yellow cornmeal. You can get it in white as well, or different brands. And you want it pretty finely ground. The coarse stuff you can cook, but it takes longer. You end up making it more like a risotto, where you gotta sit and stir and stir and stir it. But for the most part, this stuff goes really quite easily. And I'm just going to turn it into... It's not like it's like a thick porridge, sort of. It'll set a bit and hold its shape more than like oatmeal would. And all you got to do, it's 4. It tells you on the pack, but it's 4-to-1 grits to water. Boil it. don't do what I just did and forget to, or you get lumps like that. I got lumps. I immediately got lumps. It's okay. You can stir the lumps out. They will in fact stir out. But you should put it in there and immediately stir it, not stop and wait and look at the camera and fumble about for your stirring implement. Because the interior of the lumps is just dry cornmeal. Wow, and it's spitting at me. Getting out my wooden spoon to crush the lumps. Because I don't want gross, dry corn lumps in my finished product. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just a starch base, like you would with rice or pasta or any of those things. But this one's corn, and it's much more popular in the American South. And the polenta version comes from Italy, I believe. The giant version of Tiny Whisk needed a helper from the spoon because I needed a flat surface to crush some of these lumps with. You can see it's sticking to the back of the spoon here. It's pretty thick. The stuff will go a little bit gluey if you overcook it, so you can't cook it forever. But it comes together pretty well. And then I don't want it to be screaming hot, so I'm going to just turn it on. I'll probably let it steam and residual while it sort of sets up. I've got a lid for this pot, so I can... So I've got the burner off now, and I'm going to just put a lid on there, and then it can wait and be ready when we get to it. My octopus is finally at a proper slow simmer. Alright. I'm jumping the gun a little bit on things because I don't want to just stand around and do nothing. But I kind of have to stand around and wait a little bit for the octopus to catch up to us. And I didn't think of I've done a lot of heavily whisked desserts lately, and I don't have a dessert idea to fill space right now in between waiting for the octopus and all the rest of this. So I'm going to start slowly melting that butter on a low heat. I don't want to brown the butter. And I will wait for it to melt before I put the salt in there. But we're gonna just sort of slowly put this sauce together. Or I could do the sauce with the one of those things where I have the end product in mind, but there are steps between where I am and where I need to be that I have to kind of wait. So I'm going to take the shells off of my shrimps while I wait. I noticed the price of shrimp has come back down somewhat. Middle of winter, it was sky high. I'm not sure why. But it's a bit more reasonable. This is shrimp I've had for a while. I stocked up on frozen shrimps when they were cheap. Just threw some bags of them in the freezer. And you don't need very many shrimp whenever you do have shrimp, so they last a while. But it's one of those things that I keep an eye out for sales on it. It's frozen shrimp keep quite well. Got my shell bag. The shell bag is actually getting kind of full up. That's not the shell bag. One of the shells. So I've got quite a collection of shells going, so I could make a seafood stock one of these days. That might be fun. The shells are no doubt very freezer burned at this point, because I'm not making any effort to squeeze the air out of them. But they're that shouldn't hurt them at all for the purposes of making a stock. You're just going to be boiling them to death anyways. Okay. So, all three of these seafood items cook a bit differently from each other. The shrimps need to be cooked through, but they cook very quickly. The scallops shouldn't be cooked well done all the way through, or they'll turn into rubber pucks. So they kind of want a hot sear. The octopus obviously needs to be braised for a million years. And then I also want to finish it in the pan with a hot sear. So I think I'm going to do them each individually. Remove them from the pans, and then recombine them in the finished dish, rather than try to cook them all at once. And then I can the seafood then can also contribute some of its juices to the sauce that gets constructed in the pan underneath them. The mushrooms I'm much less worried about. It's hard to overcook a mushroom. They just kind of get smaller if you overcook them, which is fine. So with our butter melted, I'm going to put in the mushrooms and shallots, get them cooking, get the flavors in there. They're going to cook down to not much. There, I'm going to let them really kind of cook out all the way. Salt will help with that. And I don't want my butter to bubble too much or brown at this point. Once they've softened up a lot more, I'll throw some garlic in there as well. which I should get out and peel. You guys have seen me do this before, but I'll do it again. Switch over to the countertop, get out the red rubber tube. Come on. Take your clove of garlic with paper on, put it in the tube, and the paper should fall right off. Yeah. Fast, easy, clean. I want a couple cloves of garlic. You can never convince me that something has too much garlic. Garlic is a little bit old, so the cloves aren't peeling perfectly just with a quick roll, but it's still very snappy compared to fiddling with the paper with your fingers. This one peeled itself. Sometimes they just peel themselves, and it's great. And then I'm going to take the tips off of there. I'm going to mash up this garlic now. Make sure I'm not overcooking my mushrooms and onions. I'm going to mash up this garlic now before it's ready to go in, because if you mash or grate or crush your garlic early, it has a chance to build flavors. The chemistry of garlic is such that the pungent flavors that we're after for food are a defense for the garlic plant. It gives you that sharp, pungent flavor, and it releases that when the garlic's cells are crushed or damaged to deter herbivores. But the pungent stuff is quite volatile and won't last if it just has it all the time. So the way the garlic does it is they have two chemicals that, when you crush the cells, are released. They're very long-term stable, but they're not heat stable. So they will cook off and be destroyed if you put them right into the heat. But the product, the pungent thing that we're after, is very heat stable. So if you crush them in advance like this, and then let them sit around for a bit, it'll develop that pungent garlicky flavor for you, and then it'll survive the heat when you get to that point. And it's only 5-10 minutes ahead of time. Like many things... Oh, come in, Saizan. Yes, like many of the plants we end up eating, the thing that we're after in them is actually a defense mechanism. Supposed to scare us off, but humans have stupid tastes. We eat the things that the plant is using to try to scare us away. It's garlic, it's onions, it's chili peppers, it's even things like nicotine and caffeine. Those are in the plants to make things not want to eat the plant. And we just totally ignore that. And ultimately, evolutionarily, it's paid off to have something that humans like to eat, because it means that they get grown a lot. There's way more garlic now than there were before humans started cultivating it. So I'd say it's a winning strategy. See, now my octopus has gone from a nice simmer to a not simmer, which I don't like either. That's not good temperature control. That's why a braise is typically done in the oven, because you can set the oven to the correct temperature. I'm on the wrong screen again. So I'm putting that garlic I just crushed up in there. Because the shallots are fragrant and translucent. The mushrooms are soft. I'm doing this on a fairly low heat because, again, I don't want to brown my butter. Not that brown butter is necessarily a bad thing, but for this specific dish I wasn't looking for that brown butter flavor. Ooh, boy. Wish there was a smell-o-vision, because this smells amazing. It smells like onions and garlic being fried in butter, which is amazing. Who could ask for more? I'm going to put in the large mushroom pieces on top of this and get them started. I think they are going to take some time to get to the doneness that I'm looking for. There. Stem can go there. Broken one can go there. One of them is slightly broken. So I want them in kind of one layer so that they all cook relatively the same, but they're not directly on the heat at the moment. They're just getting heated through from the other stuff. I'm going to take them out when I put fish elements in. Let's see. The grits are done. I'm still waiting on the octopus. I could test my octopus. I was given a guideline. One guideline, which was poke them in the thickest part with a paring knife and see how resistant they are. Yeah, hot handle is hot. That's a sign. Something, I'm sure. They're trying to escape me. Yeah, they're still pretty tough. You can kind of see it. The mushrooms are sort of cooking via steaming at the moment. I should probably salt them. Even though I salted the stuff underneath.
Bring that beef back.
This is kind of an odd thing because I'm chasing a vision of the finished dish rather than following a recipe. This is becoming a much harder sizzle. I think I've cooked off a lot more of the water that was in the vegetables, which I think I want to add a little bit of water back to it. I wish I had some white wine. All I've got right now is some red wine. Which I could use, but that would give a very bright red color to this. So yeah, I'm not really following a recipe here. I'm just winging it. Which I think is half. That piece really came apart. Which I think is half the fun of cooking. It's just dive in and start and see what happens, and hope it works. Let's see. I guess I'll pack up some of my things. This is a good time for some chit-chat with the fans. Hey, fans. What's happening? I'm just putting mushrooms in a bag on the side, so you're not missing anything over here. Oh! That sounds like fun. Birthday cookout. Exciting. You are going to miss the finished Octopile. I will definitely be taking pics, as always. I'm hoping this is going to have a very artsy, Instagram-y look when I'm done. I'm glad you were able to stop by, at least for part of it. It is a little bit of a time-consuming start, so sadly, you're right. You're gonna miss the main event. Oh, that is convenient. Some members of my family have birthdays just 2 days apart as well. But we still celebrate them separately. Where is my mushroom bowl? It's got water in it because I put water in it. So the mushrooms have definitely shrunk a lot. Oop. And the stuff they're sitting on is starting to stick to them. These two in the middle are just about ready to completely fall apart. So those might be a lost cause for my artistic plating. The big ones with the stems are the ones that look real nice anyways. So those are the ones I want to make sure they come out nice in the end. Once these are most of the way cooked, I'm going to pull them and do another ingredient. And then pull that and then do another ingredient. I think we'll do the shrimp next. Because the shrimp, I can really easily visually see when it's cooked by the pinkness. I was worried about today, because right at the start, right when I went live and there was nobody watching, I felt weird. But now that I've gotten into the swing of it, that's all just gone away. So I don't know. Pre-show jitters, I guess. Well, glad you could make it. Have fun, Felix, with your birthday to remember. I am drinking. Oops. Zevia. Creamy root beer flavor. Fun story about this stuff. This is their newest flavor. And they introduced it in the smaller size packages. And I gave it a try because I like their other flavors somewhat. I thought this one was just great. Like, really a cut above. So I kept going back and getting it, and they never restocked it at any of the stores. It vanished completely. Then, just like a couple weeks back, it reappeared. But this time in the bigger packages. I guess it was very popular, and they've upgraded it to the full-size 12-packs from the smaller packages. I think it's their best flavor. It's a stevia, as the name will definitely clue you off. It's a stevia sweetened soda line. It ends up being in the organic foods section of the grocery stores. So, not with the other sodas. I just gave them a free plug. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to demand satisfaction. But that's what I'm drinking. I've also got a glass of water. But, what else besides onions, mushrooms, garlic, and fish? Do you need something else? Onions, mushrooms, garlic, and fish. I mean, I wasn't planning on anything besides onions, mushrooms, garlic, and fish. I could do what have I got? I've got some kale. I could do some kale. I could do a side salad with some kale and some cucumber and some onions. Well, the grits are the starch. So I wasn't planning on adding pasta or bread because I've got grits. I'm gonna pull these mushroom segments into their little side bowl. They look pretty well done to me. And I want them to be still together enough that I can plate them artfully. I am going to sacrifice the two that were in the middle because they're already kind of falling apart. let's bring them over to the cutting board. Cut them into smaller pieces and add them back in, and they can just become part of the sauce. We missed the grits. We had a whole conversation about the grits. Felix asked me about grits. And then I made the grits. And then I was like, oh, I made the grits kind of early. I guess I'll put a lid on them. So the shallots have become, as you would say, jammy. I could probably take this whole thing out, honestly, and recombine it again. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take all of that out of there, put it in a side bowl. This is what happens when you let me cook without a plan. Just madness and nonsense. Scooper. By which I mean a spoon. I already question my decision to do this. Isn't cooking fun? Just do stuff. I once fried a bowl of soup. It came out like a pancake. A soup-flavored pancake. That was fun and weird. Didn't have a plan then either. Didn't know what I was going for. Just turned into stuff. I called it fried soup. Okay. Temperature is going up a bit on the main pan here, and I'm gonna top it off with just a dab of oil. It's already kind of greasy, but a lot of the butter went away with the stuff I just took out of there. But I want to do the shrimps. So I'm going to do the shrimps. Shrimps cook quickly, and they like to be right on the heat. I often find myself overcooking shrimp when I try to cook it with anything else, because I end up trying to gauge it, throw the shrimp in, and then something else needs longer than I expected, and by the time I get to the shrimp, they're overcooked. So, doing the shrimps by themselves is a safety for me, so that I don't end up turning them into little bits of rubber. That's a common theme we've got going on today. All the seafoods want to turn into rubber if you overcook them. And I'm hoping to get a little bit of... The heat's higher... Even higher. The heat's higher now than it was when I was doing just the onions and the mushrooms. So I'm hoping to get a little bit of browning on the side. Do I want to add anything to... going for pretty much going for lighter flavors. So I wasn't going to add really a lot of herbs to this. It's already got salt, onions, and garlic. I'll add some black pepper a bit later when I put the dish back, the dish of jammy onions back in to finish off. But yeah, there's a Japanese. Ooh, these are sticking a little bit. There's a Japanese dish that I can't remember the name of. It's made up of a bunch of ingredients. It's like a big stew. But the trick to it is that they're all cooked separately. All the various parts are cooked separately. And each thing is cooked to its own ideal, in its own ideal way, and then they're assembled at the end. Okay. So it looks like one cohesive dish, but as you're eating it, all the parts are at their ideal cookedness, and they wouldn't have achieved that if they were all cooked in the pot together. And I can't remember the name of it. I know it from the anime Food Wars, where the main character made it, but made it out of meats. All different meats. With like 7 different cuts of beef. Of course, he's a animated character, so he can do whatever he wants. But I thought it was a neat idea, and I've never really forgotten that notion of... Because the dish is real. I've never really forgotten that idea of cook the things properly. Cook the individual things properly. They were hotter, so we're getting much more browning. And a lot of sticking, which I'm going to end up using... my oil. Which I'm going to end up using as part of the sauce. Add a little bit more oil. The stainless pan might not have been the best decision for this, but it is too late now to change my plans. I've built everything in this pan. So the pan's hot and oiled. In go the scallops. Scallops you want to treat more like... You treat them kind of like beef. It's a big hearty muscle. And you don't want to overcook it. So... They'll turn to rubber right quick, and they have a nice, delicate texture if they're cooked properly. And I also don't like doing a lot of extra flavoring to scallops because they have a fairly mild flavor. Question for the folks who are watching: I'm gonna need to deglaze this pan. The only wine I've got is red wine. Should I go for that and make a red wine sauce? Normally I would reach straight for some white wine to do this, but I don't have any white wine right now. The red wine will give us a different flavor profile than white wine would. Make sure these guys aren't sticking. If I didn't use red wine, I would probably end up using either a little splash of vinegar and some water, or possibly just water. I've got rice vinegar. I don't have any sherry. I don't think I have any wines, alcoholic cooking tools. I've got, you know what I've got? You know what I've got? I've got vermouth. I could do it with some vermouth. I'm going to do it with some vermouth. I've got white dry vermouth. Oop, these guys definitely have to flip now. Yeah! Look at that. Look at that. I moved the third one over to the corner here because my kitchen slopes that way slightly. And so the oil was kind of drifting to that side of the pan. So that one was sticking when it was over there. But I've got some dry vermouth, so I could do this with some dry vermouth. I've actually got two kinds of dry vermouth, and I don't know that they taste much different. Okay. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for giving me some advice. I'm gonna taste two vermouths to see what the difference in flavor is like. In theory, a dry vermouth should be, because vermouth is basically just wine. It's just a bit more alcoholic, but I'm cooking it out anyways. You know, the Tribuno has more flavor. I think I'm going to use that one. And there's just a dribble of it left, so... There's just a smidge of it left, so I'm going to kill that bottle, and that's going to be our deglaze. That's going to be a fun twist on the whole thing here. I need to remember to clean things up as I go. So, while the scallops are catching up to each other, get our jammy thing there. That's clean. The garlic tube can just go straight back in the drawer, because all it had on it was the papery parts. Put away. Tiny Whisk was here for the pre-show, but he's not going to see any use today. And our new guest star, the Tiny Culinary Mallet, who I hope to see more of in the future. Let's take a peek at these scallops. They are sticking a bit, which is the sign that they maybe want to be done. I like cooking in stainless steel, but stuff does stick a bit more. I'm going to pull them. They look done on both sides to me. How long have we been... Okay, the octopus has been in the pot for a full hour at this point. So I'm going to give it another stab test with my paring knife. and see what it's like. But it's gonna have to get pulled soon. Where did I put my small paring knife? Oh, there. We're gonna want to pull it soon either way. This guy is coming off the heat. The heat is being turned off because I don't want it to burn any more than it is now. So that will have to... See, because the tentacles, the octopus is looking relatively cooked. But you're supposed to take the thickest part. When I take the lid off, everything stops bubbling. You're supposed to take the thickest part and stab it. Ooh, okay. I think it's tender. I think that's just right. So, lid out of the way. Bring this guy back here on the heat. Okay. I'm refreshing our oil. I keep reaching above because I keep thinking that I put the oil away like a good boy, and I didn't put it away. Refreshing the oil just a tiny bit. There's already quite a bit of oil in there, but I want to make sure that there's enough mobilized. Okay. Moment of truth. So this is already cooked, so it just needs to get some color and some crisp on the outside and become a little bit less floppy. And that should be... It should go real quick. I'm also going to start deglazing while it's in there. And I need a sturdier scraper than that one. That guy, the skin kind of stuck to the bottom of the pan when I put him in. Okay. That looks... deglazed-ish. If I flip these guys, they've taken on some good color. The big guy wants to be a little bit more floppy still. Or is a little bit more floppy still, so perhaps we should put him on the... Okay, I'm going to get them off of there. I think they're done. I'm also going to take a splash of my frothy juice there. Return all this stuff to it. Not a perfect deglazing, but the vermouth did definitely work as a deglazing liquid. I could have just used the broth. I don't have any specific plans for the broth at the moment, but I'm not going to throw it away. It's more than just octopus and some vegetables. There was some fish stock concentrate I threw in there as well. So I'm not going to throw it away. It's perfectly good broth. I'll end up using it for soup or something. I don't have any additional plans for it at the moment, though. We are, honestly, all of a sudden, getting onto the plating phase. Which came upon me in an abrupt rush. My heat is already off. Let's get you guys over to the countertop. Oh, see, this is why I did the... I knew I was too early on the grits. They're not going to form a nice looking base. They've kind of congealed a bit. But that's fine. They still taste the same. And then I'm going to attempt an artful arrangement. The octopus is going to go on the top. I've also got these mushrooms. Can't forget about the mushrooms. The two wonky ones. I don't know. The artistry of plating is not my strong suit. That's for sure. Perhaps I should flatten the grits out a bit. Yeah, okay. Shrimp, you're coming back off. Mushrooms, you're gonna stay there, but I'm gonna peel you to the side. Just gonna use my fingers. Okay. Okay. Mushrooms, shrimps, our nice scallops, and the octopus. zhuzh it up with our delicious sauce, which is more of a thick, I don't know, it's not really sauce-like. It doesn't drizzle, it's big chunks. I would have had to have blended it. Well, it doesn't look the prettiest. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it's gonna taste the prettiest. Oh man. Wow. I just flicked off the spoon. And it's that's a hell of a thing. Hoo-wee. If I knew how to plate, boy, the plate just looks terrible. Doesn't the plate just look terrible? It needs some green on it. It needs some contrast. It's all brown. It's all brown and brown. Huh. Well, I don't know how to make it look better. It sure looks like a nightmare. It looks even worse on the camera. Honestly, the view on the camera looks terrible. It looks better in person. Giving it a crack of freshly cracked black pepper over the top. I'm gonna go to the front window and grab a couple of sprigs of something, just to zhuzh it up a little bit. Oh man, my time, it doesn't look so nice. You can't even see it in that angle. Clean off this pepper around the edge. Well, I'm gonna take pictures of it. I've discovered a weakness, because this is going to taste. In fact, I've already tasted it. This tastes great, but it looks like a mess. And I guess I have a weakness in bad plating. And we're gonna get some angles. See if I can't find one that's not terrible. I think I probably should have served it with the scallops to the front and the mushrooms to the back, but I've already plated it awkwardly with it the other way around. So I guess I'll bring it back and give her a bite and tell you how I did on all the various parts. Here we are, back in the saddle, Get out my fork, get out my knife. Taste my various components. Okay, the grits are a little bit lumpy. Not egregiously, but definitely didn't hit them with the whisk quick enough. Mushroom piece, the big mushrooms, are they got a good mushroom texture. They got a little bit cold, honestly, sitting on the side. That's not my favorite thing in the world. Shrimps are shrimp. It's cooked through. You picked up some of the flavors from the pan. Really, it's this sauce. That's the star here. This mushroom, shallot, garlic, butter sauce is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's making every element of this delicious just by proximity. I'm going to have to taste the octopus. Cuts easily. It's cooked through. It's very tender. Oh my! It's extremely tender. I picked up a lot of flavor from the broth. Ooh, ooh! That's very good. I'm so happy. It's oh god, how do I describe? It's extremely tender to the bite. It's got a rich, complex flavor. I don't have the words for it. Let's see how I did on these scallops. Okay, the scallops are over a little bit, but I think that might also be because they were a bit freezer burned going in. So they're a touch chewy. Well, of all the elements I cooked here, the octopus came out the best, and it was the one I was most worried about. So, deglazing with vermouth worked as well. So, that's something we learned. I didn't expect it to not work for the deglazing, but the flavor works as well. Okay. I can see I'm down to just 2 people still hanging on in the old chat. But we have reached the end. As I predicted at the beginning, there was going to be a lot of long, sort of awkward build-up, and then everything was just going to come together. What I didn't anticipate was that I would be so bad at plating it. It would be hard to sell this on a picture on a menu. I'm going to drop all 2 of you off at somebody else's stream as I go and finish eating this and then clean up the mess back here. I've got more octopus, so I could revisit this in the future. The octopus was ultimately easier to cook than I thought it was going to be, so I would be okay with doing that. And it was surprisingly inexpensive as well, so I'm going to... four people I follow are currently streaming, so I've got my pick of it. I think I'm going to drop you off at J-Jam Jim, who's playing Planet Crafter. He's done cooking once before, and that was a pretty fun stream. I caught his stream of cooking, so He's not cooking now, but I've seen him do it. So, I guess that's where I'm going to send you. I haven't really gotten to know any other streamers who cook as a primary thing, so I don't really have a lot of good places to send you. If you want to make anything that I made today, make that mushroom shallot garlic stuff. That, you put that on anything. Put that on a bowl of cereal in the morning. It's good stuff. But yeah. So I got a bit of a busy weekend coming up, but we will be back on Tuesday, as usual, for who knows what. I don't have anything in mind. I haven't stumbled across any really fun ingredients lately. So we'll just see. Thanks for coming out. See you next time.